What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel, and in this series I'm going to be teaching you how to rebuild your lawn so it's not all dirt and dead grass and make it nice and green and lush for winter. So as you can see, got a pretty empty slate to work with. The lawn is pretty well non-existent. A lot of it is just dead grass and dust and dirt. There are some little grass seeds in here, as you can see, but there's not very much coverage. So it's just after summer, so we've been belted with some hot weather out here in Western Australia, so yeah, it hasn't done the grass, or what was left of it, any good. So if your grass looks like this and you want to rebuild it, I'm going to teach you how to do it. So now the raking is done, you can see most of that overburdened dead grass shit is gone. Ideally you want to get it as far down to dirt as you can, but as you can see there's still a bit of dead grass in there. That doesn't matter too much because we are going to be topsoiling this, but if you don't want to topsoil it and you just want to reseed on this, then you want to try and get rid of all this dead grass as much as you can, because there could be weed seeds and everything through there that you don't want growing in your lawn. Alright, so you're just seeing the time lapse of me coring. I just got that 2-tine core from Bunnings, pretty cheap really. Ideally you want the core holes to look like this. I don't know if you can see that because of the sun, but you want to be able to like stick your finger in there. Ideally you want to go an inch or two down, ideally 2 when you're doing this as a first rebuild. You might have seen earlier over there, because the ground is so hard, the core didn't go in as far, so we're gonna have to adjust our timeline a little bit. Ideally what you could do now is go straight into topsoil and leveling, but because it is so dry and so hard over here underneath, it's almost like there was stones or gravel underneath there. So what I might do is I might throw some water on this, get some water down into the roots, get the soil moist, and then maybe tomorrow, in a couple days, we'll have to core it again and see how deep we can go. If you do come across this problem where it is too hard, you want to be real careful, because we sprayed the edges with glyphosate or the Roundup. You want to be careful to keep the water away from the edge. You're only trying to wet the inside areas where it's hard. If you wet the edges where you sprayed the Roundup, all the water's going to do is drag the Roundup into the grass, and it's going to kill patches all around the outside and wherever you've sprayed weeds and whatever. So you want to be real careful, keep the water away from where you've sprayed all the weed killer, and just focus on the hard bits. Also, with these harder bits that I've found, I've tried to core some more holes into it. You can see here where it's not deep at all. It's probably only my first knuckle there. So I've concentrated holes more and more to try and get the moisture down to soften up this soil and break it up. So when you do plant grass, the roots have got something to grab onto. If the ground is too hard and dry, they're not going to have anything to latch onto. So we'll get some water on this and then we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so I've just set up the sprinkler now to try and get some water into this harder dirt here that you saw when I was trying to core it out. So I've set it up so I'm not sure if you can really see that, but the sprinkler isn't actually throwing water onto this outside edge here. You can sort of see where the wet ground is. That's how far away I've got the water. As mentioned before, you don't want to get too much water on this grass in the outside that you've already sprayed with Roundup. In saying that, Roundup doesn't take long to soak in. So if you can see here, don't know if you can see it too well, but the Roundup is actually soaked in already. It's not actually wet on the leaf. Obviously you don't want to touch it when it's still wet because Roundup isn't good for you, but yeah, but after sort of half an hour, it would have soaked in, and then you don't have to be as careful with the water. But of course, the more water you give it after you've sprayed it with Roundup, the less likely you have of it actually dying. So yeah, just being careful about how long after you put some water on it. Of course, it's not ideal that we've had to put water on it, but yeah, as mentioned before, the ground was yeah, very hard and I couldn't get the core in very much at all. So we'll throw some water on and then we'll see how we go from there. So we're just about finished watering here, and you can see it is quite wet. You can see the water pooling on top, but that's what you want when you've got areas like this that are really hard. They've got like a really solid underneath to it. You really want to get that water pooling on top so it soaks through the core holes and into the bottom of your dirt. So you can see the core holes here. If you stick your finger in there, a lot of it is wet and there is water sitting at the bottom, and that's what you're looking for. So even in holes over here where I first started watering, if I stick my finger down in there, it's nice and wet, so you can see the soil coming out of it. It's got plenty of moisture in it. It's not just pure dust like it was at the start of the day. So that's what you're looking for. So yeah, this didn't really go to plan. I was hoping to get some topsoil delivered and have it spreaded and leveled out today, but given the state of this area, I just need to do a bit more work to get this up to scratch so then we can topsoil it and level it. But this is a really good base. You don't have to topsoil and level. I'm just going to do it because for the sake of getting the lawn looking like carpet eventually, and this lawn is really, it's not level at all. So from here, after you water it, you can pretty well, if you want to, just spread weed and feed, or even just like some mixed grass seed, and then just rake it in or water it in, and then it will grow. But for me, I want to start again, essentially start from scratch. So I am going to be spreading topsoil, leveling it off. My gate just closed because of the wind. Spreading topsoil, leveling it off, and then starting from scratch again. But from here, if you don't want to spend the money and get topsoil and spreaders and all the rest of it, you can just spread seed and water it in, and away you go. You just need to make sure you keep on top of the mowing, because you've got these the older grass roots here that are already half an inch or an inch high. Those are going to be growing a lot quicker than obviously your new germination seeds. So you need to keep on top of your mowing, because these are going to want to grow up and take over the new seeds. So you want to keep up the mowing to let those new seeds get a good start and grow up. So I think, again, not exactly went to plan, but we've got a solid foundation here to start. So I think that's going to end it for this video. I think in the next one we'll spread some topsoil, get it leveled, and I'll let you guys know about the next things to do to get your grass looking good for winter.